Carla Connor, Allison King, found herself at a dead end after receiving the results of her LSD test in Coronation Street. The clinic confirmed to Carla that she does have LSD in her system as she suspected, which prompted her to try and work out who was responsible for drugging her. Initially, Carla went through some dates in her diary and tried to find proof that it was Rufus. She wasn't able to, so she headed to work at the factory to distract herself. When she was there, Michael, Ryan Russell, popped into the office with a cup of tea. After making it incorrectly, Michael pointed out that it's usually Steven, Todd Boyce, or Sarah, Tina O'Brien, who make it for her. Knowing Sarah wouldn't drug her, Carla reached the conclusion it must have been Steven. Carla immediately confronted him in front of Sarah and Michael, but Steven was able to shut her claims down because of how ludicrous they sounded. With that, Carla made her way over to the station and spoke to DS Swain, Vicky Myers. She was then left incredibly frustrated as Swain explained without any physical proof, they can't really look into what Carla is saying. Swain then returned to the cobbles to pay Carla a visit. She explained that the police are looking into Steven, and it would be safer if she stayed well away from him. Carla's main concern was telling Jenny, Sally, and Matthews, given that she's planning on moving to Thailand with him, but Swain told her to sit tight and wait. But while Swain spoke to Carla about the police catching Steven, neither had any idea he was listening. The foundation's now in place. Steven will spend next week trying to escape England for a new life abroad before the police find him. But will he be successful? Just when Carla Connor thought she might finally get some closure over the mysterious events that have been haunting her, she's hit with devastating news. In an emotionally charged week on Coronation Street, the underworld boss is left reeling after confronting the chilling reality that she was drugged and that the prime suspect may be much closer than she ever imagined. What began as a confusing string of symptoms, paranoia, confusion, hallucinations, has now led to a horrifying revelation. Carla's suspicions have been confirmed. She had LSD in her system. But despite the truth staring her in the face, she's learning the hard way that the road to justice is anything but straightforward. Carla's journey to this discovery has been slow and painful. For weeks, she doubted her own mind, thinking her stress was getting the better of her, or that she was suffering from some underlying illness. But deep down, she suspected something more sinister. Her trip to the clinic provided the long-awaited answers. LSD was indeed found in her system. That alone was a shocking revelation, but Carla was less relieved to have answers and more horrified by what they implied. Someone had drugged her. Deliberately. And now, the question wasn't if someone had tried to sabotage her. It was who? Determined to get to the bottom of things, Carla dug out her diary and began cross-referencing symptoms, meetings, and strange occurrences, hoping for some kind of breakthrough. She remembered key dates when she felt particularly unwell and tried to match them with moments that didn't sit right. Her suspicions first turned toward Rufus Donahue, who had been acting erratically around the time things began unraveling for her. But despite her gut feeling, she couldn't find anything to implicate him concretely. Frustrated but not defeated, she turned her attention elsewhere. Desperate for distraction, Carla headed to the factory, hoping to lose herself in work. But fate wasn't done with her yet. In a moment that seemed completely ordinary on the surface, Carla was offered a cup of tea by Michael Bailey. While grateful, she noted that it had been made wrong. When she mentioned it, Michael casually replied that it's usually Steven or Sarah who makes her tea. That offhand comment sent a shiver down her spine. Carla knew instantly that Sarah would never do anything to hurt her, which meant if Michael was right, it could only be Stephen Reed. It was like a puzzle piece snapping into place. Her mind raced. The signs were there all along. His constant hovering, his suspicious behavior, the uncanny timing of her health collapses. Fueled by a sudden surge of clarity and fury, Carla stormed out of the office and confronted Steven in front of both Sarah and Michael. She laid out her suspicions, pointing the finger directly at him. But Steven, ever the smooth manipulator, managed to keep his composure. He skillfully dismissed her claims as absurd, painting Carla's accusations as the delusions of a woman under stress. He played the role of the concerned colleague with Oscar-worthy ease, casting just enough doubt to turn the tables. Sarah and Michael, though visibly rattled, weren't sure what to believe. After all, Carla had been acting strangely for weeks. Could this be another bout of paranoia? Or was she actually onto something? Carla, however, wasn't willing to back down. Still reeling from the confrontation, Carla decided to go to the police. She met with DS Lisa Swain, hoping that the presence of LSD in her system would be enough to open an investigation. But Swain's response left her even more frustrated. Without physical evidence directly linking Steven to the drugging, Swain explained, there was little they could do officially. Carla was devastated. She had the proof in her bloodstream, the timeline, and a suspect with motive, but it wasn't enough. Her anguish turned to anger. How could someone get away with something so dangerous and cruel? Later, DS Swain arrived at Carla's flat to deliver a more personal warning. Though the police couldn't yet act on Carla's claims formally, they were investigating Steven on other grounds. Swain urged Carla to keep her distance from him and let the investigation unfold quietly. The timing of the warning couldn't have been more crucial. Steven was already planning his next move, escape. Unbeknownst to Carla and DS Swain, Steven had been eavesdropping on their entire conversation. Every word, every hint of suspicion. He heard it all. And now, knowing the walls were closing in, he began putting a plan into action to flee the country before justice could catch up. For newer viewers, Stephen Reed may seem like a relatively recent addition to the Corey cast, but longtime fans know his dark legacy runs deep. Played by Todd Boyce, Steven has a history of manipulation and self-serving behavior. His desire for control and power has driven him to extremes before. And now, if Carla's suspicions are correct, Steven may be behind one of the most twisted plots in recent soap memory, drugging a coworker to destabilize her, perhaps to take control of Underworld or silence her for other reasons. The question fans are asking now is, how far is Steven willing to go? One of Carla's biggest concerns now is not for herself, but for Jenny Connor. Jenny has grown increasingly close to Steven in recent months, and the pair are even planning a move to Thailand together. Carla, horrified by what she knows, feels a moral responsibility to warn her friend. But DS Swain advises caution. Until the police can act, Carla is to say nothing, especially not to Jenny. This only adds to Carla's growing sense of helplessness. She's forced to watch someone she cares about fall deeper into a relationship with a man she believes is dangerous. The coming days on the cobbles are set to be among the most suspenseful in recent history. Steven, now fully aware that the net is tightening, begins making arrangements to disappear. His charm and cool demeanor may have helped him hide in plain sight for months, but the truth is catching up with him. Fans are already speculating whether his exit will be clean or catastrophic. Could he fake his own death? Take Jenny with him? Or will the police finally close in before he boards that flight? Through it all, Carla remains one of Coronation Street's most resilient figures. Played with raw intensity by Alison King, Carla's journey from trauma victim to fierce truth seeker has been one of the show's most compelling arcs. Viewers have watched her struggle with mental health before, notably during her psychosis storyline, and some feared she was spiraling again when her symptoms returned. But this time, the twist was all too real. Someone was actively working against her. Despite the emotional toll, Carla is determined to stand her ground. She may be bruised, but she's not backing down. And fans are behind her every step of the way. Soap fans are notoriously passionate, and this latest twist has ignited heated discussions online. #Justice for Carla began trending on X shortly after the episode aired, with fans demanding that Steven face consequences for his actions. Carla has been through enough. Steven needs to go down, one viewer posted. Others praised Alison King's powerful performance, calling it Emmy-worthy and the best soap acting of the year. Many fans are also hoping this storyline will lead to a triumphant comeback for Carla, with her reclaiming control of her life and Underworld once Steven is out of the picture.